Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to talk about a growing trend with DLC content for AAA games. We're seeing games like Halo 5 and the new Rainbow Six game announcing that they're going to be releasing all of their maps for the game as free DLC for everyone who has purchased the base game. You don't have to have any sort of premium account, early access thing going on, subscription plan. You're just going to get all the maps for the game for the rest of its lifetime for free. In a post on Reddit, Ubisoft made a statement about Rainbow Six that in addition, all post-launch maps will be downloadable for free. We want players to stay with us for the long term and have ambitious post-launch plans that we will detail at a later stage. Halo 5 has also mentioned that they're going to have 20 multiplayer maps available at launch, but they're also going to release 15 downloadable maps over the course of the game, all of which are going to be entirely free to anyone who has purchased the base game. Now, from a player perspective, this is awesome. It's great news. I mean, who doesn't want free content for a video game that they like playing? Obviously, the game companies have to make up their revenue some other way. You can't just have an entire dev team pumping out content for a game that's not necessarily meeting the income requirements to continue producing content. So many of these games are switching over to microtransaction models now. So you buy the base game, you play it, you get a lot of cool features with that, and then the later DLC comes out, and along with that DLC, like free maps, comes some purchasable things like new weapons, new camos, new skins, lots of cosmetic additions. And if you want an example of games already doing this kind of thing, you can just look at Counter-Strike or Team Fortress 2. Games that, for the most part, had a buy-in price to get the base model, and now it's all microtransactions and free DLC. And it's clearly working for those two titles, so the rest of the industry is now following suit. Some faster than others. I'm still kind of waiting for EA to fully convert to this model with some of the Battlefield titles and stuff. I think it's a little scary, especially for bigger companies that have relied on one model for a long time, and it's for the most part been working. But I think eventually they will have to follow suit because they're going to see how successful it is, plus they're going to get beat out by all the other AAA games offering their DLC for free. I wouldn't be surprised if the community map project and a lot of the free maps that are coming out with Battlefield 4 right now are sort of just testing the waters for this kind of model. Maybe we'll see this sort of free DLC model as early as Battlefield 5. Now let's talk about some of the awesome benefits that come with this sort of free map DLC model. First of all, you have an undivided player base. That's something you can't say about Battlefield right now. There's the premium player base, and then there's the people who bought the base game. Without question, there are way more servers playing the base game maps on Battlefield 4 than there are playing the DLC maps. And it's not to say that the DLC maps are not good or deserve to be played less than the base game maps. Many of them are extremely good and should be sort of mixed into the standard rotation of maps. But unfortunately, many of them are not going to achieve that high level of popularity and make it over into, say, future Battlefield titles because so many people played those maps. I mean, look at No Shark Canals. That was hugely popular, but it was also part of the base game of Battlefield. Some of my favorite maps came out in some of the later DLCs for Battlefield 3, and unfortunately those maps just didn't get quite as much name recognition because they weren't part of the vanilla lineup. So aside from the undivided player base, you also get DLC maps that can become extremely popular base game maps that will carry over into future titles. Then also every DLC that launches, like a new map pack, is going to revive the entire community, not just the premium community or players who have a little bit of extra money. There's a lot of people who only have enough money to buy the base game, and it would be really cool to bring them back in droves when new DLC comes out. This is going to affect the entire Battlefield community every time an expansion comes out, rather than just the people who are dedicated enough to spend a little extra money or have already spent all that extra money on premium. And when you revive the entire community with DLC, you get people back in the game that start to enjoy the game in a way they might have not enjoyed before, or hook up with a group of players that they enjoy playing with way more than they did before and become addicted to the game or become hardcore players. Plus, you have that many people that are coming back into the game to look at, hey, what's the new microtransactions? If they're enjoying the new DLC, they might be more inclined to actually spend a little money on some of the cool aesthetic upgrades like camos and skins and whatever else you got going on. One thing that's a little bit harder to calculate on the monetizable spectrum is good karma. The fact that releasing free DLC and free content for a player base gives you a lot of respect from a community. If you have a group of players that enjoy playing a game and you all of a sudden give them a bunch of free stuff for playing the game and say, here's some more stuff, here's some other cool ways to experience the game, here's some new maps that you can play for free, that's going to resonate incredibly well and just get people speaking about your game in a much more positive way. And I don't know about you guys, but when I have a conversation with a friend and I tell them a lot of bad things about a game, they're probably not going to be as inclined to want to go out and buy that game. But if I'm conversing with a friend and saying, oh man, this game's awesome, plus they just released 4 free maps for it, it's really cool now, we're all enjoying the new maps, they might be more inclined to go out and buy the game. I realize this is a hard thing to track, but improving your game's image, your company's image, that kind of thing, really does so much for the long-term success of a game or a company. Now obviously if a free DLC model was instantaneously profitable and successful for all game companies, they would all be doing it right now. I think they will all eventually be doing it, but it's going to take a little bit longer because there are some downsides to it if you don't implement it properly. There's always the potential for less profit, but I think if anything has proven itself, it's that free-to-play games in many cases are more profitable than games that have a base price. Look at League of Legends, one of the most successful games in gaming history, has a free-to-play model and they just rake in cash with almost purely cosmetic upgrades. Yes, you can spend a lot of money to unlock heroes and stuff faster like that, so I guess you could call it sort of a combination of XP boost or character unlock boost and cosmetic upgrades. I can see so much of this being translated easily into the Battlefield franchise. We already have gun camos, we don't have character skins really, so they could add in a whole variety of character skins that you could pay for to make yourself look unique on the battlefield. Then we have emblems, we have dog tags, you could add in custom voice packs for your soldier so they sound different, and you could even implement a camo system similar to Counter-Strike. I don't actually know why every game isn't implementing a similar system like this where you have extremely rare, hard to find camos that you can then trade and sell within a game community, a game market like that. It becomes incredibly profitable for the game company and a lot of fun for the players. So to summarize things, the whole philosophy behind this free DLC model is that it shifts where the actual money is coming from. Hopefully it doesn't lessen the amount of money that the producers are making. It probably will increase it if your content is good enough, but it basically makes it so that you get more people playing the game for a cheaper price, and then if they have money that they want to spend or they get really into the game, then they can start spending that money on microtransactions, and people who have a lot of money can potentially spend a lot more money on microtransactions than they would have if they just bought Battlefield and then the premium version. And so that's where a lot of these free games or these free DLC games with microtransactions make up a lot of their profit. So anyway, it's a growing trend in the gaming industry. I think we're going to see it hitting a lot of AAA titles very soon. What do you guys think about this model translating into the next Battlefield game? Would you like to see it with a base price and free DLC with microtransactions, or would you rather just have the DLC cost money and no microtransactions? As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.